What's up, everybody? New year, new show. Welcome back to Off the Wall. I'll be one of your hosts for this review. My name is Bogz. Good to be with you all, reviewing the Bad Batch Season 2, Episode 3 today with my girl, Sol. How are you today, Sol?
Doing good. Not just new year, new background for you as well.
It is, yes. This is my bedroom. Don't get too excited. But yeah, new setup. Like I said, new year. Lots of big things coming this year, right? So
hmm
we're gonna smash it. Smash it as much as we can, and enjoy it. We've got lots of stuff coming on the channel. But yeah, first thing to drop this year really is the Bad Batch. I didn't review the first couple episodes. You were doing it solo.
Yep.
Um, what do you think of episode 3 first? Please give me your thoughts.
This was the best of the three episodes so far that they have put out.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I wanted season two to start like. Whereas like the first two episodes, I said even in my review that they weren't bad. They were
Hmm.
okay to good episodes, but it was more of something that you would see like a regular Clone Wars episode or a regular Rebels episode that'd be in like the middle of a season, not really a start to something. So to really get like some more exciting stuff happening after like that last tidbit of the second episode where there was an exciting moment, it's like, okay, yes, this is what I want.
I thought this episode was sick. Honestly, I
Mhm.
loved everything from it from the start, the action, heavy thing in the middle, and then kind of the resolution at the end, and then with a little twist. It was full of lore stuff, whether it's prequels, whether it's clone stuff, whether it's let's say Force stuff, which we'll come into. The way that they show the Empire here is fantastic, and the in between transitioning of the clones going to into the Empire, and are they stormtroopers? Are they clones still? That kind of thing is the people behind them. Obviously you can hear their voices a lot of the time. You can hear that they're clones, but they seem like stormtroopers as well. Um, and obviously changing of the guard from clone stormtroopers and people obviously deciding or seem to be in conflict into inner conflict as well. We see it from a few different characters. I was completely fine with not seeing the actual Bad Batch, the
Yeah.
remaining Bad Batch members in this fight, because we got a great story. Uh, some of the shots is like it's a joke. Like the way Filoni and co like do the color palette of some of the planets, the interior shots, the exterior, the shadowing, the cinematography of certain shots. I mean, they're really showing off and flexing what they do with this animation style in a minute. It's absolutely gorgeous, to be honest. And as opposed to the first few episodes, I just thought they were super filler, kind of dull, apart from the last kind of few seconds. So yeah, compared to this episode, this was not only one of my obviously the best of the three. This is one of my probably my favorite Bad Batch episode. I was so
Really?
locked in. Yeah. I thought it was uh, it enhanced the characters we already knew, built on the prequels, moved the story forward. Character development, score was fantastic. It looked beautiful. It's a longer episode as well. I just loved it. I loved it completely. I was completely engrossed, and I just thought it was excellent, to be honest. So we'll do a kind of brief episode review, but um, yeah, obviously we see Cody. We see Crosshair assigned to Commander Cody, and this is the
Mm.
first time, as far as I'm aware. Correct me if I'm wrong, or someone in the kind of comments do. As far as I'm aware, this is the first time we've seen Commander Cody since Revenge of the Sith and the events of Order 66. I don't believe we've seen him elsewhere in canon since then. So seeing him back, and for me, when we first saw him, he was reflective at that point. Obviously, a bit of time has gone on since Order 66 at this point. They're standing in front of like that war memorial, I'm going to call it, and hearing how he is, and the expressions that he has, and the kind of the way it's shot, he's half in the light, half in the dark, speaking to Crosshair and stuff. So seeing, and he's, don't forget, the Emperor spoke to him directly to enact Order 66, Commander Cody, Order 60, whatever. So he was an integral part of that. saying the whole lines of good soldier follow orders and all that, and then what happens and everything. So I think he was still maybe at that point. For me, it came across that he was reflecting on shooting at Obi-Wan, it being his friend, his commander, throughout the Clone Wars and stuff, and then coming to the end of the story and then seeing what happens there, which we'll come to a bit later. But I just really enjoyed him. I love seeing him and his crosshairs in their action. They seem like elite soldiers to me.
Yeah.
With the whole firing thing with the glass reflector thing, I thought was
Yeah. Oh, that
fantastic.
was so cool.
Yeah, and then seeing his negotiation, I thought that came across like he's a more experienced guy. When he put his gun down, took his helmet off, he could have killed her. When she had the gun to the uh, to the uh, to the Imperial guy, and the way that he tried to negotiate out of it. He realized he didn't have to fire his weapon. That's all the years of experience with in the wars and with the generals and stuff. I really liked it, and then kind of Crosshair just completely follow the Imperial's orders. Super
Yeah.
cruel. Um, and then we saw his reflective moment a bit later, which we'll get to. But I really liked Commander Cody in this.
Hmm.
It was great to see him back. Where he goes now, we can theory about that later. But what do you think about Cody and his return, his story, his character arc and development in this episode?
I was so excited to see her. I was like, Commander Cody.
Yeah,
But yeah, completely echoing you on just like the experience that Commander Cody has in the fact of like just the fighting, the negotiations, the everything that he was doing. And you could see too that at the beginning of the episode, he really does truly believe in what the Empire is putting out, is that we are here for peace and stability in the galaxy. And that's why he's going on this mission. That's why he's continuing to follow the Empire and follow orders, is because he believes that that is the actual like mission of the Empire.
that is
But
the continuation of the Republic. That's what
right,
they kind of believe it is, right?
exactly. And there with that, and seeing him negotiate and knowing peace, you can have peace without violence there, and then seeing the violence that they want, the Empire is wanting to commit anyways. And I loved the line that he had at the like end of the episode with Crosshair when he was saying what makes us different from battle droids is we make our own decisions, we make our own choices, and we also have to live with them. And you kind of see after Order 66, these clone troopers have kind of become kind of like battle droids. They follow orders, they do what they're told instead of having their own minds and making their own decisions. So it's cool to see these different clone troopers in their whatever moment they come to realize the control of the Empire, where they decide to switch and go AWOL.
Yeah, you touched on so many things there. Yeah, definitely the way that the clones now behaving, that they're just literally droids. But I saw something in Cody that maybe they're not all like that, or maybe would that happen now if Order 66 happened, where how he was enacting, how he's reflecting. If he saw everyone
Yeah.
now, would he do that? I don't know. I don't think he would. So maybe they're not
Yeah.
all like that. Maybe he's been contemplating stuff, and because he attacked his friend. So and that's obviously you carry that with you. He literally said that. So your actions have consequences and whatever. So even the toll it takes on you and stuff. So I think that got through to Crosshair in the end, because we've seen throughout season one that he was on the fence here and there. He did decide to go to the Empire and go kind of away from his brothers, but he knows that he's different. He knows that, and that was shown as well with his his outfit, his gear that he wears is completely different to the rest of the stormtroopers. He's all black compared to the all
Yeah.
white. So he's always stands out, always the odd one different. The only people that you can identify with are his brothers or super experienced guys like Cody. And also the actual stormtrooper look as well. It's like an in-between uh, clone trooper look and a stormtrooper look.
Hmm.
I believe that's a Ralph and Corey concept art. I don't know, to be honest. I think I've seen that before, and Filoni tends to do that when new things come in, and they do have close-ups on on costumes or creatures. It's normally an indicator that's a Ralph McQuarrie thing. So
Yeah.
I presume that's from there. Um, yeah, there's so many different things to touch on. Even the whole aspect of this is why I love Filoni's work and his respect of what's come before, and his for me it's like respecting the fans, to be honest. Like, even though this is a show about the Bad Batch, there's no Jedi, there's no Sith, there's no Force use in it per se, or there isn't, but it lingers around the show. Like, there's mention of the Jedi, when Crosshair brings it up, or there's talk of Dooku. Obviously in the previous
Yeah.
episodes, the whole 2 episodes was centered around Dooku's wealth and background. Similar to this episode, were we wrong to do this to the Jedi or whatever? So I just love that they're respecting, and on top of that, the whole, as you said, the droids, and having all the, it's like watching they're pulling things from episode one,
Mhm.
um, whether it's the battle droids or the droids with the force field, I forgot what they're called, or the tank, and seeing how they battled against them. It was great. It was like mixed in with the other tactical droids and things like that, and having clone troopers there, and I just loved it. It was just like reliving the Clone Wars, reliving Episode One, and yeah, and the battle and the action, and Crosshair's kind of elite um, sniper shooting, whatever you
Yeah.
want to call it, and his ruthlessness.
Badassery.
Absolutely, and his ruthlessness to adhere to the Imperials. I even like the Imperials in this episode. I think his name
Mhm.
was the Governor Gratton or something, and like Rampart as well. You know how vindictive they are, and showing that side of the Empire, how ruthless they are. And for me, it stands out that Cody isn't like that.
Mhm.
He does it to a certain extent because he believes, like I said, it's a continuation from the Republic, but he's realizing it's not. Am I on the
Yeah.
wrong side here? And I think Crosshair is too. He's had that conflict throughout season one, and it's still continuing now. And I think he will personally. I think he will join his brothers later,
I did too.
later on in the series. Yeah, maybe sacrifice himself, whatever. But he will have some kind of redemption arc because he doesn't belong there with them. He belongs
Yeah.
with his brothers, kind of thing. So many things to love about this episode. Um, Even though, like I said, there's no the things, the USP stuff in Star Wars, the Force, the Jedi, the Sith, it still lingers about as it should do, in my opinion. And I'm so glad, like Filoni, Favreau, sticking to these things that George Lucas intended for me anyway. These should
Yeah.
be in the series. They should be key integral things to the storyline, as opposed to something like Andor, that that yeah, I don't really dig on the show or anything, but there's nothing, and it tells it from a different perspective. It still shows the Empire from a boots on the ground, a different perspective. But for me, this is so much more compelling because it respects the lore so much. Whether it's about, like I said, about the droids, they're talking about Sith, they're talking about Order 66. They're talking about their transition. It's so much more compelling and engaging and exciting to watch, as opposed to something that's subverting expectations, and it's slowed down, and it's about people in the office, and all this kind of stuff. This is so much more engaging for me. It was really, really good. Sorry, I've been going on a bit, but yeah. What are your other standouts in this episode, please? And Crosshair's journey and arc as well. I'd love to hear your opinion.
I loved that the battle droids were there because I wasn't expecting them, and I was gonna be like, is it weird that I'm excited for the Roger Rogers, as my niece
Yeah.
calls them?
Yeah.
Like, just to, although I don't think they once said Roger Roger, which I was like,
How did they not?
missed opportunity. But the fact that we just have, like you were mentioning, all these like little references, and they really do make such a big difference. Like, it's so small, but it makes where we get another mention of Dooku again in this episode. And I personally think with Tales of the Jedi and then the mentions of last two episodes and then the small little mention of this episode, I'm like, they have to be doing something with Dooku. So maybe I'm getting myself excited for something that's never going to happen or won't happen for a really long time. But I'm just like, I'm getting that feeling that we're going to get something with Dooku. I really also liked the governor of Desix and her wanting to protect her people and her kind of there how smart she was too in the episode where the Empire's bringing a convoy and it's in the vein of, oh, we want to, it's a diplomatic convoy, we're just going to talk to you, and she knows there's no diplomacy that's going to be happening here. So I even wrote down like it was like Desic said, "Fuck your ships," like literally shooting them down, and kind of in that protecting her people, and then knowing too when you have to go, okay, let me give up here because it's going to be better for my people to survive. And so seeing kind of those more the conversations of empires and of military takeovers and how this stuff like they preach peace but there's no peace to it, and how you can kind of put it into real life stuff that happened in the past and then happening today too. And it's just like the this is echoing so many things not just in the Star Wars universe but in real life too, and that's made me really enjoy it.
Yeah, I like the governor as well. I think his name is Ames, and the way even the mention about Dooku was, we're separatists. We're not. You
Yeah.
don't come under our restriction. Dooku was our representative, if you will, of the separatist movement. We didn't align with the Republic or the Empire. So now that he's gone, because obviously it's recent, it's recent events
Mm.
since, Order 66 is what I'm not sure timeline wise exactly where we are, but obviously we've seen where the Bad Batch were in Order 66, from the Clone Wars season 7 to the season 1 now, and now here. Um, yeah, we've seen this isn't long since Dooku was killed in
Yeah.
Revenge of the Sith. So timeline wise, it's not very long at all. So that's why people are now trying to take his wealth, his treasure, his he's not there to protect and oversee the whole issue with like these planets that are just left for the Empire just to take over. Because obviously Dooku, they made me think about Dooku. He had grand plans with Palpatine to run the galaxy or whatever, and maybe with Vader as well, because obviously Palpatine informed him he's going to have a new apprentice and everything, but little did he know, he would be killed at that point in Revenge of the Sith on Grievous's ship. So yeah, it just it expands the lore in such an intelligent way, and the music was fantastic. And when Crosshair killed Ames, the governor, for Derek's, and the music was amazing. I hope, well, I can pretty much know it was Kevin Kiner because of how amazing it was. And and seeing Cody's reaction to it at that point, he knew he has to get out. And obviously, he said what he said to Crosshair, the same war memorial that they spoke to earlier, that we have to live with our consequences. Like, does he regret, what he did with Order 66? Is he thinking that way? And where do we go from here with Cody? Lots of story arcs we can go to. Obviously, he can try to look for the Bad Batch. He can maybe look for Rex and Ahsoka, wherever they are. Will he kind of, we see other clones that survived as well. I forget the names of the farmer guy that was in season 1. Could we? Is he going to reach out to them? Is he going to make an appearance maybe in the Obi-Wan series? You don't know. All these possibilities with him. Season
You
2 of
mean
the Obi-Wan
Ahsoka, right?
series.
Or
No,
is
I'm just saying in the Obi-Wan sit. Oh no, that point. No, no, in the Obi-Wan series, I'm referring to.
mm, mm,
Did they have some kind of reconciliation? Who knows?
yeah,
Yeah, but in the Ahsoka series, that'd be great. I'm so looking forward to that Ahsoka series. By the
yeah,
way, with Filoni at the helm. Yeah, there's so many exciting things for Cody because I think he's a really good character. And Crosshair as well. Where's his story arc going to go? Obviously, they're going to come up against the Bad Batch as well at some point. So how they're going to reunite? And he seems to be a trusted figure with Rampart as well
yeah.
now because obviously Cody's not there. So What missions are you going to assign him to? Because that Rampart seems kind of ruthless. So that'll be interesting as well. So
And
yeah, lots to
Crosshairs
look
is
forward to.
ruthless too.
Yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. But I mean, he's ruthless, but I still see the conflict in him.
Yeah, I do
So
too.
yeah, there's so many interesting things. So what do
But
you think? Any theories, thoughts, like with Crosshair, with Cody, or any other characters?
yeah, I think we are able to see that there's a ruthlessness, but there's also something else there. I think Rampart only sees his ruthlessness, and I think that's why he trusts him, because he did go against his brothers. And to go against, like, you were an outcast with the clone troopers with your brothers, and to go against the people who you consider the closest to you and being ruthless, that's something I think Rampart really admires, and why I think Rampart's going to trust him, and that trust is going to be misguided for Rampart, because I do think he's going back to the Bad Batch, whether that's sacrificing himself or joining up with them. I think it's going to be a sacrifice. I think when, like, push comes to shove at the end, he's going to do something that saves his brothers.
Maybe. What are your thoughts on Cody? What do you think he's going to go now? Do you think like which direction? Because obviously there's a few characters he can link up with, and a couple of interesting story arcs for him potentially.
Thing, I don't know if he knows about the chip yet, so he
Hmm.
has to first get the chip out of his head. So I don't know where he's gonna go. Could see him linking up maybe like with Rex, because I feel like it would be more with them than the Bad Batch. But since this is the Bad Batch show, and Cody is such a like an important character in Star Wars, I could see Filoni bringing him back in later in the season, or kind of in like Mandalorian, where you had the droid that Taika Waititi voiced was in the first episode and then in the last episode. So I could see, like, story arc wise, bringing him back at the end, when like you bring a bunch of people back for what I don't know how many seasons Bad Batch is going to go for. So there is a lot of options for Cody to go, but the first thing he's got to do is get that chip out his head.
Yeah, that's a good point. I had no idea. Did it expire? What? Who knows? Will the Empire go after him? I'm sure they
Yeah.
will. You know, not just going to let him
Is
go
there a
AWOL
tracking device
on
on that
holiday or
chip?
something. Yeah, all that kind of stuff. So super interesting. But yeah, overall, I really, really liked it. It's got me excited again for Bad Batch,
Mm-hmm.
because after the first and second episode, I was a little like, is this the pace that we're setting? You know, this is a filler. The first two for me, they were filler. Um, and yeah, it didn't have me excited because there's a lot of episodes, so it
I
didn't have
have
me
a
excited.
prediction.
So yeah, I was definitely looking forward to next week now. But go ahead, yeah, what's your prediction?
I was like, I have a prediction just in my. I think your favorite episodes are going to be the episodes that barely have the Bad Batch and Omega in it. It's going to be more
Maybe.
Crosshair stuff. I feel that's my real life prediction for Bad Batch.
I mean, honestly, that's more compelling. You know,
Yeah.
clearly there is a light side, dark side thing here.
Mm-hmm.
Like with Cody, we had as well. There's a you know, they're trying to get that famous balance with. So and yeah, I mean, his character arc is so much more engaging than some of the things that the Bad Batch are going through. You know, they don't know whether they should be doing more to fight the Empire or get money. I mean, that's
Mm-hmm.
basically the biggest thing. Or you know, an Omega growing up. I mean, as opposed to Crosshair, who's knee deep in the Empire, he doesn't know if he's going right or left, doesn't know who he's killing, what for. He's just surviving, and he's dangerous.
Yeah.
And what other characters they come will he meet? You know, Tarkin, potentially Vader, who knows? The Emperor, whatever. I don't know. So yeah, I think you're right. Crosshair storyline seemed more at risk. You know, you don't know if he's going to survive or not. So yeah, definitely, I agree. Um, but yeah, what about you? What are you looking forward to, kind of in the next coming episodes?
I think too, even though I made the prediction, yours, I think they're going to be my favorites as well. Because exactly what you were saying there is, when it's you have those gray characters, because everyone loves the hero character, and but when you have those people that are just teetering between good and bad. Those are some of my favorite and the most like juicy characters, like in books or in movies or in TV. Like those are the ones that, what are they gonna do? Are they gonna make me happy by going to the light side, or are they gonna piss me off by killing someone I love or like killing a good person? So it's one of those like the potential of Crosshair and his storyline is that so much greater than the rest of the Bad Batch. Although I did say in the first review, I think that Echo is going to be the moral compass of this show. And so I think I'm very interested to see how Echo is going to be portrayed throughout the rest of this, because a lot of the things that he was doing in the first 2 episodes, I was like, they're kind of leaning to him for like the moral stuff. So I'm excited to see what that is going to lead to later in the season.
Yeah, as a wider Star Wars fan, meaning overall canon or the prequels, the Clone Wars, the Rebels, anything kind of Filoni has been involved with. I mean, for me, it's so exciting, like where it's going to go, because you learn so much watching this stuff, and it builds on the lore from George's, let's say George's story, the originals and the prequels. So, and obviously the wider canon that he's made. So it builds on that and adds to that, and it makes it so much more compelling and interesting. So I can't wait. And it's just a good time. So talk about a good time. That's the end of this review. Please like, comment, subscribe. We've got a lot coming this year. So let us know what you think of this episode. Me and Sol loved it, of course. And we'll catch you guys on the next episode review for the Bad Batch. And see you soon.